Have you seen all the changes they are making to the league mechanics in PoE 2? It is crazy. They have reworked pretty much every league mechanic and they're changing how the Atlas functions. In this video, we're going to go over all of the changes to the Infinite Atlas and we're going to go into the Origins of Divinity questline to figure out what they are changing so that once you complete the campaign, you are prepared to know what to do in the endgame. We're not going to go over every single league mechanic in this video. There's going to be separate videos for all the different league mechanics. If you are interested in deep dives on those, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified once I upload those videos. But like I said, we're going to dive deep into the main endgame storyline and the Infinite Atlas changes. So as I said, they have given locations on the Atlas to each different league mechanic. To the north is the Val ruins, which should be the Val temple, even though they haven't confirmed that. If you go towards the east, you're going to find the abyss, and you're going to see these cracks on the earth that shows where the abyss starting point is. To the south, I think southeast, there's going to be the ocean for expedition, and a different south direction is going to be where the breach is. They just confirmed that it is to the south. To the west, you're going to find the ritual and the delirium in two separate forests. What that means is that when you spawn into Atlas, you can choose which league mechanic you want to hunt out. Or maybe you're going to go for the fortress to unlock the Atlas points first. When you spawn in, you will not see the fortress. You will have no idea where it is. However, very close to the starting point, there will be a tower. And once you complete that tower, the fortress will erupt from the earth, and then you know exactly where it's going to be. So it's completely up to you which league mechanic you want to hunt out first. And if you want to ignore a league mechanic completely, let's just say for the sake of example, you don't like abysses. Now, most people do like abyss, but let's just assume you don't. Then you just never go east and you never interact with the Abyss League mechanic, and they have confirmed if you do put 3 tablets into your map that forces a League mechanic, that could be 3 Delirium tablets, one of each, as long as none of them are irradiated or none of them is Abyss, you will never get the Abyss mechanic in your maps. Now, if you do use an irradiated tablet, it will be random which league mechanic that will be put into your map, so then you could get Abyss. That way, if you use free targeted league mechanic tablets, you can just completely ignore the mechanics you do not like doing. And they have confirmed there's going to be more things in the maps as well. There's going to be more random mechanics, like maybe there's multiple exiles. They showed off a rogue exile hunting round where you could run into exiles hunting other monsters, etc. So there's going to be more fun interactions with special league mechanics around the Infinite Atlas. Because the Atlas is still fully infinite scaling in terms of the size. You can go any direction you want as far as you want. So then we're getting into the Origins of Divinity questline. This questline happens within the fortress. Like I said, the fortress spawns after you do your first tower, so it could be smart to rush at the first tower you see. Then you're going to have to enter the fortress by clearing the maps into the fortress, and then you're going to have to farm maps within the fortress to gain keys and disarm precursor reactors. But the maps inside the fortress, they have special, unique stuff. They could be anything from extra rare monsters. It could be every rare monster is now strongbox. Every rare monster is now an essence. So there's lots of special maps in here. One they showed off was that every white monster is now a magic monster, I do believe. Maybe it was just all packs are now magic monsters. So there's lots of cool, unique maps you can do inside the fortress. And once you complete a map inside the fortress, there will be a precursor node that you have to remember to interact with, because that will give you these Atlas tree points for the new Atlas tree that they showed off. Also, in the past, you had to go out and hunt the Citadels. You had to get lucky to find them or just not unlucky not to find them. We had people going up towards level 95 or something with no Citadels. If they didn't want to trade, they just couldn't try the pinnacle boss until they were pretty much done with the game. It was insane. Now, the free first citadel, so one of each type of citadel inside the fortress, have fixed spawn locations. So there's no RNG in getting your first attempt at Arbiter of Ash, and they also have said that the pinnacle bosses are going to be infinite attempts. They didn't specifically say all difficulties, but since the early levels did have infinite attempts in the past, I do believe all pinnacle bosses now, no matter the difficulty, should have infinite attempts. At least that's what it sounded like. So you can go and do these guaranteed spawn citadels inside the fortress, which will give you the fragments so that you can go and fight the Arbiter of Ash. A center map in the fortress will have the access to the new pinnacle boss, so that you can try to fight the new Arbiter, which is not the Arbiter of Ash, but the actual pinnacle boss of this league going forward. If you go to the center of the fortress, you can find the new pinnacle boss. The Arbiter of Divinity is what people are assuming it's going to be called. We don't exactly know its name. We just know it's the new Arbiter boss. So there's 2 Arbiter bosses now you can fight. Each time you do fight the Pinnacle boss in the fortress, you will get the ability to activate a new section of the fortress until you obviously cleared it all. So you start off fighting in one section of the fortress, it seemed like, and then once you kill the Arbiter boss, which you could try and rush, it seems as well, then you choose a new section of the fortress to unlock, which would mean you automatically complete all maps in the old section, which will automatically give you all of their Atlas points. Now, you will not be able to do their map. So let's say you're spec'd into strong boxes and you want to hunt strong boxes, and one of the maps has all rares are now strong boxes. You can't go and do that map after you auto completed that section. So there is a cost to it that you can't do the maps, but it will be super fast to juice up your Atlas tree, which will obviously give you more loot in all future maps you do. So it's probably super effective to just rush it if you are strong enough. All quest versions you do of the bosses, so the first time you fight the bosses, which will be a part of their quest line, because all of these league mechanics now have quest lines tied to them, which ends in a pinnacle boss fight, it seemed like. They will be easier versions with worse drop pools. So once you get to the bosses again later on, you will be able to fight a harder version of the boss, more and better unique drops for you. Now, the Atlas is not completely dead either. You're going to be able to influence it when you complete, for example, Deliriums. You're going to be able to spread the fog to sections you want to do. There are other league mechanics you can spread as well, so you will be able to influence how the Atlas looks. We don't know if the league mechanics can overlap though, and by league mechanics I mean like their league areas, like you see what's the gray Delirium maps on the Atlas, for example. And to start these quest lines, you just have to clear one of the maps that has that league mechanic. So when you encounter your first abyss, you will get the abyss questline, for example. So the main reason for these changes was that they wanted to take away the RNG so that people don't have even getting to try the Arbiter boss when they're level 95, but they still want the RNG later on because RNG gives you hype moments when you find stuff and it enforces the infinite exploration. But they also wanted to not just drop players into the infinite Atlas with no direction. They want to give you a guided experience for every league mechanic, a guided experience until you've unlocked all of your Atlas points, and just a way more structured, guided experience to ease you into the end game. So what do I think about these changes? Because those are the changes happening to the Infinite Atlas. I think the guided experience, the quest lines you do to fight the bosses, the fact that the hubs have strict areas on the map they're going to be, I think that's really, really good. What I don't like is that you can completely block out league mechanics, but this might be a hot take. I know other people want that. For example, like I said, if you use free tablets of breaching, you will only be getting breaches in your maps that are random league mechanic spawns. It's more fun, I think, if you just randomly run into an expedition that you weren't prepared for, etc. But they did give a good reason for it. The reason was that if you don't like doing abysses, you don't have to do abysses, and you're not going to get punished for having 0 points on your abyss tree, which if a random abyss spawned, suddenly you would be punished. Now, I do assume irradiated tablets are going to be important to boost the area level of the maps, so maybe people will have to play around with a random league mechanic anyway, so it's probably okay, but I wish there was still all the randomness inside of a map. But if you like this video, please give a like to the video and subscribe to my channel for more updates on PoE 2 heading into 0.5 and beyond, as I will be making a lot of YouTube videos heading into the 1.0 launch in about 6-7 months. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.